How's it going, beautiful people? Today we're going to be talking about a topic that I think that we should address because as I've gotten older, I see it more and more. I see it with people when it comes to me and also when it comes to other people. And sometimes I do catch myself doing this thing and I don't want to do it. I want to become a better person. And I think all of you guys should be able to listen to what I have to say and also become better people yourselves. So what I really want to talk about today is this idea of not being good enough. And it's also an internal not feeling that you're good enough, and also people in your lives telling you that you aren't good enough at what you're doing, what you're passionate about, and even what you should or shouldn't be doing. Now, I'm not going to focus on internal doubt within oneself today. Today, I really want to focus on when people tell you you aren't good enough to do something that you want to do, or whatever you're doing is obsolete and it's not going to benefit society in any way. Now, a lot of you guys might be thinking right now, well, Ben, you got into medical school. I mean, it's one of the biggest accomplishments anyone could ever do in their lives. But believe it or not, throughout this whole process, I've had so many people tell me that I wasn't good enough to do what I just did. And I proved themselves wrong, but it still feels really bad and really sad inside to know that there are so many other students out there that are trying to get into medical school or even trying to do whatever they want to do in their lives, that they constantly have people in their lives that tell them that, oh, you're just a shoo-in, or that's why you're succeeding, or they just feel bad for you, that's why you're so successful, or oh, you shouldn't do that because you're not going to be successful at it. And I really want to address those issues. So let me just give you guys an example of a situation like this. So I'm going to have some personal examples, and I also want to talk about other people's experiences and people who are actually not wanting to be in education or wanting to further their education, and even then they get criticism for the decisions that they made in their lives as well. So at the beginning of fall of this year, fall 2017, I got an interview invite at a school where I did not even expect to get an interview at. I did apply to it because I always had that what if aspect to it. So I did apply and I got an interview, but my MCAT score and my GPA was nowhere near the average for their students who end up actually going to that school. So I was incredibly grateful, but I was also trying to figure it out within myself what it is that they really liked about me. And I felt myself expressing these thoughts that I was having towards my friends, and most of them have been really supportive. They were like, you're more than just a statistics, Ben. You have done so much in life and you've contributed to people who are less fortunate than you, and this school has really been able to see what you did beyond your education that makes you a good doctor. And I was really happy that my friends gave me the reassurance to actually attend this interview and have the confidence to do well. But there was one person that said something that really got to me, and it didn't get to me because I was offended. I was actually really saddened by what they said, because I'm sure that there are tons and tons of other pre-medical students who've heard things like this. And when I told this person about my inner conflict about getting an interview at this school, they told me, well, it's probably because they're trying to diversify. You're probably not good enough for that school anyways, but they have to actually show people that they want to diversify their school so they don't look bad. And like me in that moment, I was just staring at her like, what did you just say? That is so messed up. Why are you saying something like this? Because I always like to believe that people are good. People want to bring other people up, and this person just showed up their most ugliest side when it came to something like this. I know that jealousy exists. People get jealous of other people's success, but I've gotten jealous at other people, but I've never been this ugly towards someone else. When someone succeeds in something that they really want to succeed in, I try to bring them up. And I also found it incredibly weird that she said that I was a way to diversify the school, but I'm actually a minority that is overrepresented in medicine, so technically I don't diversify the school in any way in the aspect of what diversity statements usually are for medical schools. Yes, I did have a unique background. I come from an underserved area, but none of those aspects have much weight in diversification. So I thought that was completely weird that she started claiming that the school only accepted me because of diversification, which in itself is very insulting because students that actually get into medical schools who are from minorities that are not usually represented in medicine, people attribute their success into getting in towards their diversity, but that's not necessarily true. Those students work just as hard to get into medical school as anybody else. Sure, sometimes medical schools do like to accept people that may be different or have a unique background or come from an ethnicity that is often not represented in medicine, but that doesn't mean just because they have that quality they're going to go into medical school. Everyone has a base. Everyone who gets into medical school has base requirements that they need to meet to actually attend medical school. So I don't like it when people attribute some sort of uniqueness in one's life towards, oh yeah, that's why they got in. Because no, they got the MCAT scores, they have the GPA, they have the extracurriculars, they committed themselves to doing this for 4 years of their lives to get in, and it's incredibly insulting. And the same actually goes towards college applications, getting into law school, getting a job, getting a position in a job. I always feel like there's always some people that attribute it to not merit but something else. But everything that we do in life you need to meet the merits first and then they look at other factors. That's just how it is. And believe it or not, guys, even after getting into a medical school, I still get criticized for not being good enough. There are times where people approach me and ask me what I want to do, and I tell them what I want to do in medicine, and they look at me like it was a waste of me to get in because I want to do primary care. And another example that I have is a really, really good friend of mine. She's one of my bestest friends. Miat, I love you. And yeah, shout out to her. But Miat is one of those few people that I absolutely admire in this world, and she actually ended up going to college to get a degree in teaching so she can teach physics to young children and to high school students, whatever that may be. She just wanted to become a teacher, and I always find it so upsetting when people ask her what she wants to do and she tells them, well, I'm going to school to become a teacher so I can teach kids, that people immediately start judging her for the decision that she made. And usually one of the first comments that comes in, why do you want to teach her? There's no money there. There's no satisfaction there. But the thing is, to her, teaching fulfills a part of her life that gives her fulfillment. Sometimes it's not always about money. Sometimes it's about having a job that you love doing, having a job where you can have an impact on others, having a job where you have financial security. I know a lot of people always preach that there's no money in teaching or whatever, but teaching, as long as you don't get into any weird scandals, is a very secure job. You will always have students who are going into education, who are going into public schools to get an education. So there's always going to be demand for teachers. They're never going to run out of it unless they create some robot teachers that replace teachers one day, but I doubt that's going to be the near future. So it's a very secure job. You get so much fulfillment because you get to be a part of lives of children and encourage them to do better for themselves. And yes, it's absolutely frustrating. Absolutely frustrating when there are students that don't want to listen, don't want to behave. But at the end of the day, it is satisfying to her. And I'm sure even YouTubers get this dilemma too, because they're doing something that they love. They're doing something they're passionate about. People like Casey Neistat, Philip DeFranco, Jax Films, they're doing something that they're passionate about. They love informing other people. They love making an impact on other people's lives through the use of a camera. And they love to entertain people, and they're doing things that they didn't even imagine themselves doing, but now they're doing it, and it's fulfilling their lives. And there's constantly people in the comments that are telling them, well, YouTube isn't a real job, YouTube isn't getting you anywhere or anything like that. But the thing is, sometimes it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that it's not getting you anywhere, or it doesn't matter that there is no job security in YouTube. Sometimes what matters is that this is what I love doing right now. Let me continue what I'm doing, and if there is a point where I can no longer continue this, then I will face that problem, but not now. And yes, even people who choose not to further their education, I feel for them. I want them to do what they desire to do, because I firmly believe that if you feel that you will not thrive in a place of education, then find something else that you are passionate about. Whether it be going to technical school, whether it be becoming a musician, whether it be becoming an artist, or anything of that sort. Do what you are passionate about, as long as you can still be passionate about it. When it comes to a point where you feel like you're not getting anywhere, you're not making enough to go by, that's when you start reevaluating, well, maybe I need to change what I want to be passionate about. But regardless of that, if you're totally fine with what you're doing, you're totally happy with what you're doing, you're totally fulfilled with what you're doing, keep doing it. And I want to tell that to you guys. Just do what you love doing. There are constantly going to be people who are judging you for what you are or aren't doing. There will always be, no matter what you do. Even if you're Bill Gates, even if you're Mark Zuckerberg, there are always people bashing them for what the decisions they have made. So own the decisions you have, own whatever that you're doing, and keep doing what you're doing. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video. This is Ben.